Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. So I just filmed my October wrap up not long ago, and now it's like mid-November. And I was just kind of like looking towards the rest of the year, and I thought it would be fun to do kind of like I hope to read TBR. So so I have a reading goal this year I set was 110 books. And so I have read more than 160 books at this point. So I feel like two things could happen. I could continue on this reading, whatever the word is, like just keep going. Or I could just totally back off and like watch a lot of TV, movies, etc. I mean, I'm sure I'll read more books, but I don't know. I just don't know how prolific it's going to be. So I guess this is kind of more of like a dream TBR. Like if I read so much, this is what I would read. There's some books that I'm going to read just because like my holds are going to become due, or they're like the next books I'm going to read. So these are the books I'd love to read like November and December of 2022. And then just because I don't know how to stop, I thought I would just kind of cover everything on my TBR that I like own that I haven't read. So these will be books that I will be reading. I mean, this is the TBR. And obviously more things will get added come Christmas, but like if I could read everything and clear off my bookshelf, it would be so great. I'm sure I won't because there's a lot of really big books. So to start with, I thought I would start with so these are like the audiobooks that I will most likely read because they're like they're coming due, or like I'm gonna get them. So I'm currently listening to, this is so glary, The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. So this is a thriller. So the main character shows up at her half-brother Ben's apartment in Paris, and he's not there, and he's missing. And so she's trying to figure out what's going on, and the apartment, like everybody living there is kind of shady. So I'm about 60% done with this, so maybe done today or tomorrow. And then the next thing that I have that finally got, like I have the hold due, is The Ink Black Heart. So this is the 5th book in the Cormoran Strike series. So this is by Robert Galbraith, the other pen name of J.K. Rowling. So this is a series about an ex-military, I think he's ex-British military, and he is now a private investigator. So he solves murders. I love these books so much. This audiobook is 33 hours. So this is what I will be doing for the next 14 days. But I've listened to all the audiobooks, and I don't think that they've all been like 30 hours, but they're like 24 plus. And they're great. The narrator is great. The books are so good. So, and I just like Cormoran, the main character, is just like such a good character because you kind of, it's like he's not perfect. He's kind of gruff, but you just love him so much. And then I have The Poppy War. This is like an epic fantasy. So I know this is like a political fantasy. I've heard only good things about it, so it's been on my TBR for a while. I don't actually know anything else about it. And then I have Something Wilder by Christina Lauren. And this I know nothing about, but I know that I love their books, and this is their newest. So that one is going to be, the ones that I included are within the next 6 weeks, so I should be getting those. And then The Sun Does Shine is a book that we're going to be reading for a book club. So as soon as I'm done with my Cormoran Strike book, I will probably download this and listen to it. So this is the story of Anthony Ray Hinton, who was arrested and put on death row, and he was acquitted because he was wrongly accused. So this storyline is covered in Just Mercy, which is another book that we read for our book club, and it was so good. So highly recommend if you are interested at all in like prison reform. Just a great story, like so great, and just information on like especially in the South, how people are wrongly accused and just in prison. So we were talking at this last book club about how it's going to be a sad December because, well, November as we read it, but I'm sure it's going to be just an awful story to read. So those are the audiobooks I'll be listening to. And then cannot wait to finish this. So this is House of Leaves. This is horror. And I have been just slowly chipping away at it. It's like 700 pages. I just got to page 347. So my goal for today was to get to like 400 pages. It's just, it's like interesting, but it's like dense and it's not very fast moving. Even though like there are pages where there's like nothing. So I thought I was going to be able to like buzz straight through this. But I feel like sometimes it hurts my brain because the format keeps changing. And then there are times that, because there's like multiple narrators and there are times that it's just like the densest pages. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find it now because I'm trying to show you. Oh yeah, so sometimes it's like this. And you just feel like the story's not moving at all. Like, I don't know. I guess we'll see how it wraps up in the next 400 pages. But I haven't given up on it. It's a very cool premise. I don't know. I'll let you know. Hopefully I finish it in November. If it goes to December, I just don't know. I just don't think I can do it. All right. Then the next, I think this might be the next one that I pick up just because I just read a nonfiction. And so I need something light. So Angelica Frankenstein Makes Her Match. So this is a Sally Thorne book. And Sally Thorne wrote The Hating Game, which is one of my favorite books ever. Just a really fun romance. So this is about Angelica Frankenstein who's run out of suitors. And yeah. So it's like Halloween-y, but romance. And I know nothing else about it, but I think it'll be a good read because she's a fun writer. And then I have The Legacy and the Goal. So these are the last two books in the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. So these are like love stories for hockey players, and they're quite smutty, and I like them. So I will read these by the end of the year, I'm sure. And then every year I get my dad a book in the Killing series because they're really good. They're by Bill O'Reilly and Martin Dugard. So ones that you might have heard of are Killing Lincoln and Killing Kennedy. So the whole book is like a nonfiction, kind of like a look into a famous murder or a famous conspiracy. So it's Killing Lincoln, Killing Kennedy, Killing Jesus, Killing Patton, Killing Reagan, Killing the Rising Sun, Killing Crazy Horse. So I am like 5 or 6 books behind in the series because they every October come out with a new one. So I just gave my dad Killing the Legends is the one that just came out. And I just finished Killing the Killers. So I will probably be reading Killing the Mob before the end of the year. And then I don't think I've read Killing Crazy Horse. So I think I still need to go get that from my dad's house. But yeah, so those are on the TBR. I love them. They're written so well. They move really quickly. Just like really fascinating nonfiction. And then I have a couple of like thrillers that I was trying to read like in October, but because of being on vacation, it was just hard to like get to all of these. So A Flicker in the Dark. This is my book of the month from December of 2021. So not quite a year overdue yet. So it looks like when Chloe Davis was 12, 6 teenage girls went missing in her small Louisiana town. By the end of the summer, her own father had confessed to the crimes and was put away for life. Now, 20 years later, Chloe is a psychologist in Baton Rouge and getting ready for her wedding. And then more local girls go missing. I've heard good things about this. So I'll be reading that hopefully this month. And then I have The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. So I read The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James, and it was like a kind of like a supernatural thriller, and I really liked it. So this was one that my sister got for Book of the Month for March. This says a true crime blogger gets more than she bargained for while interviewing the woman acquitted of 2 cold case slayings in this chilling new novel. I do like cold case books. All right, and then to come over to more of like a fantasy. So this is Small Angels. This was my August 2022 Book of the Month. And it says, in a hypnotic tale of sisterhood, first love, and hauntings, a wedding in a small English village stirs up unsettling magic and forces a troubled family's secrets out into the open. That sounds good. Sounds intriguing. And then I have, so Naomi Novik. I love her fantasy. So Uprooted, like top 5 books in my whole life. So this is a series that she, I think maybe just finished. So this is the second book in the series. The first is called, what is it? A Deadly Education. So it's about this school that has like monsters living in it. So it's like a school of magic, but like a lot of people don't survive being in school there. So our main character like has this really dangerous form of magic, and she's trying to stay alive, and it's very good. And there's mystery with her mom. So anyway, I've been this has been on my TBR for a little bit, and so hopefully reading this in the next few weeks. And then I wanted to read the second of the Brandon Sanderson Mistborn. I guess it's a trilogy, but then it's like got extended, so it's more books than a trilogy. So this is The Hero of Ages. So the first one is Mistborn, and the main character, like the first book is kind of like a heist, kind of. The main character is like learning about her magical abilities. This takes place in a world where the Dark Lord has already won, so they're trying to take him down. Yeah, lots of pages. It does read very quickly. Hopefully. The first one did at least. And yeah, Brandon Sanderson is a great fantasy author. I just need to like read more. There's just so many books to read. So many. And then I have God's Grave, which is the second book. What was it called? Nevernight. The first was Nevernight, so this is God's Grave. I like devoured Nevernight. It has super small writing, but it is written so well. So our main character she's like recruited by a secret society, and then they are basically like trying to get through trials, and people are being murdered, and there's like different like evil factions that are trying to take, like you don't really know who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. So, like, the main character is trying to navigate this while people are being murdered. And she's, like, becoming an assassin. Yeah, she's becoming an assassin. So good. So, I can't wait to read this. Again, I just have so many, like, fantasy, like, epic fantasy. And it just takes a long time. So, maybe it hasn't been at the top of my list. But I just want to get them done. And then I have The Toll. So, this is another... This one's not fantasy. It's more like dystopian. So this is a continuation of the Scythe series. Arc of the Scythe. I can't remember anything. I'm so sorry. But hey, I'm not coughing as much this time. So this is The Toll. So this was the first is the Scythe. The second was the... should know this, the Thunderhead, and this is The Toll. So the premise of this series is that humans have overcome death. So in order to have population control, you have these scythes who were selected and trained to kill. They're supposed to kill like based on like the populate, like how people normally would die. And so in the first, there's these 2 apprentices, and then we find out that there's a lot of corruption and other things happen. A big thing happened at the end of the second book, and I can't tell you about it, but these are really great books. So especially if this is very like Hunger Games Divergent kind of level. You know, it like makes you think. It's like you hate the story, but it's also super entertaining. So that, yeah, love those. And then I bought myself a little holiday book, which it's very hard to find like good, like I want to read like wintry holiday books for like December and January. And it's just hard to find books that without like finding a bunch of really cheesy books. Like I want them to be like maybe a little bit more plot driven than a Hallmark movie. Like 1 or 2 little Hallmark movies would be fine, but like I don't want all of the books that I read in December to be like, I wouldn't really recommend them. But this is Lauren, so I'm sure it'll be good. So that's the list of books that I'm like trying to get through. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. 13 books. I can do that over the next 2 months. But then, what if I need to read more books? So these are the rest of the books on my bookshelf that I have not read. I'm just going to kind of do them like rapid fire. I'll tell you if I know what it is, but some of these I just don't know. So Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. And this is about somebody getting out of prison and having to reunite with their daughter. I'm sure it's going to be good. And then I have The Soulmate Equation. Wait. I read this one. So I listened to this one this month. I read this. This is great. This is no longer on my TBR. Okay. Then I have All's Well by Mona Awad. So she wrote Bunny, which was like a psychedelic mess. So I'm going to give her one more chance. People love Bunny. Maybe you like Bunny. Maybe you like feeling like you're on drugs while you're reading. So I'm going to give her another chance with this. This is about somebody who's like doing a Shakespeare play, but also, I think, on pills. So we might feel high the whole time. And then I have Stamped from the Beginning. So this is, well, I'll tell you, it's the definitive history of racist ideas in America. And she's thick. And she got water damage. But still a book. So I will be reading this probably next year. This might be one that I kind of chip away at because it seems very dense. And then I have The Yellow Wife. And this is about a girl who was shielded by her mother's position as an estate medicine woman. And then I believe she's forced to leave home and get married. So again, probably not it's very short, but probably not an easy read. And then I have The Last Legacy by Adrienne Young. So this is like a generation later than Fable and Namesake, which are kind of like piratey treasure hunter books. So good. Love them. Like, highly recommend. So I'm sure this will be great. And then I have The Lifestyle. So these are the rest of them are just book of the month books that I'm behind. So I don't always pick up my book of the month books. Like I try to like get a few in each month, but because they're not necessarily books that I've like heard of much or like heard much about, they just kind of like get pushed to the back. So this is about a housewife who they become swingers. So the lifestyle is swinging. So I've heard good things about this since I got it. And then one of my sister's book of the months was The Lies I Tell. So I think that's a thriller. And then I have You're Invited. This is a thriller. So this is about a wedding and people are dying. This has been on my TBR before and I just can't quite get to it. So I was maybe going to wait until like wedding season next year if I don't get to it soon. And then I have The Fortunes of Jaded Women. This is about, I think this is like mystical realism in a, like one family. And then I have Hester, which is, I think, my newest. This is October of 2022. And this is supposed to be a Scarlet Letter retelling, which I like. I've always liked the Scarlet Letter just because those bitches. I don't know. Poor little Hester. Somebody had to impregnate her. So, yeah, I'd love to hear a different perspective. Oh, this is my most recent. So this is November. This just came. This is called White Horse. I don't know anything about it. So it says some people are haunted in more ways than one. I believe that this is supposed to be an indigenous people. I think it's about yeah. Heavy metal, ripped jeans, Stephen King novels, and the occasional beer at the White Horse have defined urban Indian Carrie James's life so far. But then it looks like they have visions of their past, secrets. I think that'll be good. And then the last one I have is the Well of Ascension. So it's the third in the Mistborn, the first 3 Mistborns. So I know I'm not going to be able to read all those in the next few weeks. But I will report back how many I read, I guess. So what did I have? There's 25 books on my shelves that I have not read. We'll just go with that. There's 25 books on my shelf that I have not read yet. And I'm sure I'm going to get a bunch for Christmas. I'm going to give myself a bunch for Christmas. Okay? I'm going to. But I'm going to try to read this stack within the next 3 or 4 months. So yeah, I guess let me know if you know of any good winter romance. I'd like to read some winter romance. All right. I will see you at the end of this month for my November wrap-up.